We are moving on to the next part of our Sunday Feast program, is Sunday Feast lecture. Today's Sunday Feast lecture is going to give by Atma, Her Grace Atmamaya Mataji. She is very well known to our congregation. She doesn't need any introduction, but our purification. I want to speak on pleasure of the devotees. I want to speak a couple of service glories about Mataji. Mataji is actively participating in many temple services. She is coordinating one of the major service such as Prashadam service. Also, Mataji does lecture transcription service, and Mataji is a kind Vaishnavi. With that, we will welcome Mataji by loudly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra once. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Mataji, over to you.
Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu, for your kind introduction. Even though I'm not qualified for it, thank you so much. So I would like to share my screen. Can you see my screen, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. So today I will be going to talk about one minute, Prabhu. Sorry, Prabhu, some technical issues.
Okay, Mataji.
Okay. We're going to talk about Bhagavad-Gita chapter 12, Devotional Service, verse 3 and 4. And thank you, devotees, for sharing a wonderful realization. And today's topic is also the same verse from chapter 12, verse 3 and 4. So first, I would like to offer my respectful obeisances to my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Romaba Swami Maharaj, then Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parambara, and to all my Shiksha Gurus who helped me to go through the path of Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Jai Subhadra Mataji, and thank you, Satyara Prabhu, for giving me this opportunity. So first, we would like to go with Jai Radha Madhava prayers. Samanvita, can you please sing?
Yes. Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Samanvita.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallava Girivaradari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodana Vraja Jana Yamuna Tira Varnachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Thank you, Samanita. I'd like to offer my prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Nananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Ena Tasme Sri Guruve Namaha Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Udapada Kamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Regu Natvidam Tam Sajivam Satvedam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visha Kamvidam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bendo Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namastude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhudale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Idi Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prajarine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So before starting the verse, I would like to offer my obeisances to Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the verse is from chapter 12, Devotional Service 3 and 4. Yeto aksharam anirdeshyam avyaktam parshupasate sarvatragam achindyam cha kudastam achalam drubam sanyamendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhaya te prapuvanti mam eva sarvabhuta hiderata Yeto aksharam anirdeshyam avyaktam parishupasade sarvatragam achindyam cha kutastam achalam drubam sanyamendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhaya te prapnuvanti mam eva sarvabhuta hiderada Yeto vaksharam anirdeshyam avyaktam parishupasade sarvatragam achindyam cha kudastam achalam dhruvam sanyamendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhaya te prapnuvanti mam eva sarvabhuta hiderataha. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Anybody who would like to read the verse?
Rekha Mataji wants to read.
Okay, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Today's verse is also in Sloka realization program, this first only. That's what it makes me easy. So, etakshwaram anirdesyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatragam achintayam cha kutastam achalam dhruvam सन्नियानेन्द्रियाग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति माम् एव सर्वभूताहिते रतः.
Can I try, Mataji? Etvaksharamanirdesyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gamachintam cha kutasthamachalam dhruvam tanniyamendriyagramam sarvatra samabuddhayaha te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhutahite rataha.
ये त्वक्षरमनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थम् अचलं ध्रुवं सन्नियामेन्द्रियाग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धय ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रतः.
Start now. Synonyms: A, those who, to, but; aksharam, that which is beyond the perception of senses; anirdesyam, indefinite; avyaktam, unmanifested; parshupasade, completely engaged in worshipping; sarvatragam, all pervading; achindyam, inconceivable; cha, also; kudastam, unchanging; achalam, immovable; dhruvam, fixed; sanyamya, controlling; indriyagramam, all the senses; sarvatra, everywhere; samabuddhaya, equally disposed; they, prapnuvanti, achieve; mam, may; eva, certainly; sarva bhuta hide, for the welfare of all living entities; rataha, engaged. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, J. Srila Prabhupada. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. So this verse mainly talks about the impersonal aspect of worshipping the Supreme Lord. So the purport. Those who do not directly worship the Supreme Godhead Krishna, but who attempt to achieve the same goal by indirect process, also ultimately achieve the same goal, Sri Krishna. After many births, the man of wisdom seeks refuge in me, knowing that Vasudeva is all. When a person comes to a full knowledge after many births, he surrenders unto Lord Krishna. If one approaches the Godhead by the method mentioned in this verse, he has to control the senses, render service to everyone, and engage in the welfare of all beings. It is inferred that one has to approach Lord Krishna, otherwise there is no perfect realization. Often there is much penance involved before one fully surrenders unto him. In order to perceive the super soul within the individual soul, one has to cease the sensual activities of seeing, hearing, tasting, working, etc. Then one comes to understand that the super soul is present everywhere. Realizing this, one envies no living entity. He sees no difference between man and animal because he sees soul only, not the outer covering. But for the common man, this method of impersonal realization is very difficult. So what's the connection between the chapter 11 and chapter 12? So Arjuna, in chapter 11, Krishna shows the universal form to Arjuna. So Arjuna offers obeisances with folded hands and glorifies the Lord. Then Krishna then reveals to him that except for the 5 Pandavas, all the soldiers assembled on the battlefield will be killed. Therefore, Krishna exhorts Arjuna to fight as an instrument and guarantees him victory and a flourishing kingdom. So Arjuna then requests Krishna to withdraw his beautiful, this fearful form and show his original form, that is the Shama Sundara form. The Lord then exhibits his 4-armed form and last is original two-armed form. Upon seeing the Lord's beautiful human-like form, Arjuna became pacified. So only one engaged in pure devotional service can see such form. So in the beginning of chapter 12, Arjuna asked Krishna, so which path should I follow? Like, should I worship impersonal Brahman, or should I worship the personal Brahman? So Arjuna basically want to know about the devotional service. So why he want to know is to clarify his position as a devotee who works for Krishna, as opposed to Nani who renounces work. Then, to clarify his position as being attached to the personal form of Krishna as superior to the universal form or unmanifested Brahman. So, because some people might mistake the universal form to be more significant than the Krishna's two-armed form. So, basically, Arjuna wants to know, like, worshipping which path is the best. Is it Bhakti Yoga or worship of the impersonal Brahman? And he wants to clarify his position as a devotee, opposite to Jnani. So, this is the breakdown of chapter 12. From 12.1 to 12.7, Krishna talks about Bhakti is superior to impersonalism. So, worship of impersonal feature is considered to be less perfect. Why? Because they had to undergo more difficulty than one who worships Krishna with great faith and great attention. Then the path of devotion is recommended. Why? Because it is easy to follow and Krishna personally takes charge of delivering his devotees. Then 12 to 8 to 12 to 12, it shows a progressive stage of devotion. So one live by continuously fixing one's mind and intelligence upon Krishna, that is Bhakti Yoga. Then Krishna says, if you cannot do that, you follow the principles of Bhakti Yoga, the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga to remember Krishna. Again, Krishna says, if you cannot follow the principles of Bhakti Yoga, you surrender your work to me. Then he says, if you cannot do that, then give up the result of one work to some good cause. Then if you cannot do that, or you can cultivate meditation or gain knowledge about me. This is what Krishna talks. Then 12 to 13 and 12 to 20, Krishna talks about the qualities that endear one to Krishna. That is possessing divine qualities that is very dear to Krishna. That we'll be discussing later. And one who faithfully follows the path of devotional service, making Krishna as a supreme goal, is very dear to Krishna. This is the most important point. So let's see what is the impersonal aspect. So there are three aspects of absolute truth. And sometimes it is very easy to understand with the analogy. So Prabhupada gives example of a train. You know, the time of the Britishers, there was a railroad built from connecting Mathura to Delhi. So the villagers at that time, they didn't know what is a train. So they sent 3 people to the station and to find out what is the train, what does it look like. So the 3 persons came to the station in the dusk time. So then the first person saw the train coming. So for what he saw was a light. So then he thought that light is train. So that is the impersonal realization of the absolute truth. Then the second person, he saw the train, he heard the sound of the train, and he saw that engine. So he thought, oh, this is the train. So train means sound, light, and there is he saw the engine. So this is a localized realization, like a Paramatma realization. And second person also went and told the villagers, like, I saw a train. Train is not really light, but it's a like, you know, the sound is also there. The smoke is also coming from the train, like that way. And the third person, he thought, no, it might be something else beyond this. So when the train stopped at the station, he saw a lot of features. Train has a light, it has a sound, it has an engine, it's connecting different compartments of the train. There are people inside it, and there are vendors selling foodstuff, the fan, light. So he was getting a clear picture of what a train looks like. So that is the Bhagavan realization. And our ultimate goal it should be the Bhagavan realization. So what is the realization of personalist and impersonalist? For the impersonalist, the realization is the effulgence of the Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For that effulgence, light is the realization of the Krishna. And the goal is partial because they are only satisfied by seeing the light, and they are only satisfied with only knowledge. That for them, knowledge means it's a light coming from the Krishna, and simply they want to free from their material atmosphere, and they want to go to the spiritual atmosphere. So just like if you're sitting in a dark room, you want to go to the room which has some light. So their goal is just to get out of this material atmosphere and get liberation. They're not to achieve Krishna. So what the personalist realization is, they're not satisfied by simply seeing the light. So they want to enter within the light to see from where the light is coming from, where it is origin. And so they understand the Lord in full bliss. That is Satchidananda Vigraha. Then the devotee goal is not only not liberation, they want to reach Krishna. That is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they want to have a direct connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And for that, what they do is they have no attachment to the result of any work done in the material world, but they act only on behalf of Krishna. The only goal is to satisfy Krishna only. He engages in all kinds of activities, but he is completely not attached. The Srila Prabhupada gives example of office. Like when you go to office, like you do your work, you come back, but you're not attached to anybody over there. Okay, you'll have 1 or 2 friends, but still your goal is to you do your work sincerely and then come back home. You're not getting too much attachment there. And the personalists do not claim proprietorship over anything. And so the Lord is impersonal and personal and localized. So by his impersonal feature, he is all-pervading Brahman. And by localized feature, is present in everyone's heart as a super soul or Paramatma. And by his ultimate personal feature, Krishna, he is the object of transcendental loving service by his devotees. And so what does the personalist do? So they engage himself with all his energy in the service of the Supreme Lord with complete surrender and complete faith. Then how do they engage themselves? They chant about Krishna's holy name. They hear about Krishna's pastime, read scriptures. They cook prasadam for Krishna. They shop for Krishna. Whenever they shop, they try to buy the best things for Krishna. Then wash the temple or dishes. They offer obeisance to deities that associate with the devotees. So like that way, they keep engage themselves. Then they do not pass a single moment without devoting these activities to Krishna. So every single moment, they are thinking about only how I can serve Krishna. Then the deity of Lord is the authorized representation of God. See, whatever we offer to Krishna, he accepts it. So we should not treat the deity as simply as a material thing. Krishna is present within that deities. One example I want to talk about, this is a true story which happened in a temple called Guruvayur. It's from Kerala. There's a temple called Guruvayur. And this is a story about a little girl called Manjula. Like she used, her main prime duty was she used to collect all the flowers and make garland. And in the evening, she will come and give it to the temple. And the priest will put it on the Krishna. So one day what happened is she got late to come to the, she made the garland. By the time she came to the temple was closed. So then there was a banyan tree and she started to cry from there. Like, today I missed my service, like I got late. And she was like crying. And so a devotee was passing by. Then he saw this girl crying, and he asked Manjula, like, why are you crying? So he said, like, today I was late to offer my garlands to Krishna, so I don't know what to do. So the devotee sends the Bhakti in her heart. So then he said, okay, you do one thing. You keep the garland on the, there's a banyan tree there. You keep it. Krishna will take it. So then she believed him and she just kept the garland over there. And the next day, the priest came and they opened the temple for the Arati, Mangala Arati, early morning, he was removing all that, the ornaments, everything. Previous day, whatever they put, they were removing, and they want to give the bath to the deities. So then what happened is only one garland was sticking to the Krishna. It was never, the priest was trying to remove it, but it never fell off from the Lord. So the devotee who saw that, he saw, oh, that this must be a garland of Manjula. If this is the garland of Manjula, let it fall down right now. So immediately the garland fell down. So then everybody was like surprised. Oh my God, like Krishna accepted her garland. So in the bhakti, like Krishna accepts pure bhakti. When we do devotional service here and there, we make some minor offense, not intentionally, but Krishna just looks for the pure bhakti. And then after this incident happened, then it's that banyan tree they named it like Manjula's banyan tree, and they installed a picture of Garuda. Even now it is still there. Then deities encourage the Supreme Lord accept service from the living entities. So it's authorized worship. That's what Prabhupada also said this analogy. Like a deity which is compared to a mailbox. Like if you post a letter in a mailbox, it goes directly to the owner. Like, but if you just simply paint the mailbox and keep in front of our house, it doesn't work same like how the mailbox does. So we also have the guidance of spiritual master, Shiksha Gurus, and association with devotees. For example, in India, we can see how the people flying kite, the kids who are flying kite, like one person will be holding the kite, other person will be releasing the thread slowly, and finally the kite will take off. The same way, when it's our spiritual our bhakti will start with association of devotees, chanting, then having prasadam, doing various services for Krishna. So like that way, slowly, our Shiksha Gurus, our Guru Maharaj will train us so that one time, when your time comes, we can also go to Krishna's abode. So no risk involved, a trouble or difficulty in approaching Lord, because Krishna delivers devotees from the Maya, and he himself has recommended this process. So it's a mercy of Krishna. So then what does the impersonalists do? So they always engage in the meditation of the impersonal Brahman. So and there is no relationship with the Lord as such. It's like it's a impersonal Brahman means like the effulgence coming from the Krishna's body, like light. It's very difficult for us to focus there, right? So for example, if we go night drive, when the car comes from opposite side, when they show that high beam light, it's we don't feel comfortable. My eyes will be hurting. So here, same thing here. It's only the light is there. There's no relationship with the Lord. So one thing is that's a waste of time, because one cannot perfectly conceive the impersonal feature of the Lord. Then what they do is they take the risk of practicing difficult path and still did not realize the absolute truth in the ultimate end. So only the partial realization is there. And coming to the point of Bhakti Yoga, by grace of some devotee, then they come to slowly realize Krishna also has a form. The Lord is not impersonal. He has his eyes, legs, hands, like everything like us. And we are parcel of Supreme Lord. They have that kind of realization. Then other thing is, the controlling various senses is very difficult here. It's like we are forcefully controlling our senses. But that sometimes it's not possible in this age of Kali. Then the other thing for impersonal has to do with, they had to be equally disposed to everyone, engage in the welfare of all, because friends and enemy, you had to treat the same. But that is not possible. Like if enemy, we cannot forgive the enemy as easily, right? In the Kali Yuga, if somebody hurts us, we really want to hurt them back. We don't feel, okay, Krishna is merciful because of my past karma, like I had to suffer like this. We won't think about like that. When enemy means enemy only. We cannot go beyond that. And it's difficult for any common man, like to study the Vedic literatures, and most of them are like in Sanskrit. Some people find difficult in reading that. So they're understanding language, and so it's very difficult to understand. And thanks to Srila Prabhupada, he's translated so many books for us so that we can easily understand in our own languages. Then, and must austerities and penance are involved before the ultimate realization of the taking place. And it depends upon the own endeavor. And description of personal Brahman. So Krishna says impersonal Brahman with Jnana Yoga takes his call Aksharam. That is, it's beyond the perception of material senses. It's spiritual. Then it is Anirdeshyam, indefinite, means impossible to define by words because it's beyond material and beyond the range of senses. We have to know only through disciplic succession. That is, we have to know through the Guru Parampara. Then only we'll understand what is the Brahman, what is impersonal Brahman, everything. Then it is Avyaktam, means unmanifested, because it does not have form, qualities, or varieties, so sense cannot perceive them. Then it is Sarvatragam, all-pervading, means it is everywhere and is not subject to logical analysis. Then it is Achindyam, means it's inconceivable, it's beyond time. Then Kutastam, unchanging. Then Achalam, immovable. Then Dhruvam, fixed or eternal. So that is why it is very difficult. Then Krishna always says like there are different paths of bhakti like Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. But and Krishna ultimately says Bhakti Yoga is the most important. So let's see what are the challenges of Karma Yoga. So one may understand the Supreme Lord, but he may not know that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Then there are two types of Karma Yoga. One is Sakama Karma Yoga and Nishkama Karma Yoga. And Sakama Karma Yogi will have attachment to the fruit of his activities. He may worship the Lord for material result, may also approach demigod for result. So in the material world, we see when we achieve something, we think it's because of our achievement. We are the doers, but we never think it's Krishna who's giving us the intelligence to do certain things. Because of him, we are able to do that, and all we never realize. So when we do, well, that's what I put the picture of this and carrying the log of wood. Like we think that we are the doers, we had to enjoy, and we forget to give our result to Krishna. And the Sakama Karma Yogi, he gradually comes to the platform of Nishkama Karma Yoga. And in that stage, there will be no attachment for fruitive result. So the transition from Sakama stage to the Nishkama Yoga may take a lot of time. It could take many million lifetimes also. So in Nishkama Karma Yoga, what happens is the practitioners do his duties perfectly as per the scriptures and follow the Varnashrama Dharma. But you should not be attached to the result. So whatever your prescribed duty, you should do it without being attached to the result. And while doing this work, you should be completely detached. And is it possible with us? It's easy to say, but difficult to practice. And challenges of Jnana Yoga is one acquires knowledge by studying the 24 material elements. That is, like 5 gross elements like earth, water, fire, air, ether, and 5 knowledge acquiring senses: eyes, nose, ear, mouth, skin. 5 subtle elements are sight, smell, sound, taste, and touch. 5 working senses: hands, leg, mouth, rectum, genitals. And 5 subtle elements: mind, intelligence, false ego, and consciousness. And there's another factor called time or kala. So the Jnana Yogi understands that, okay, this is my body is made up of all these kind of 24 elements and is subject to destruction one time. So they also understand their souls and not the material body. Then they also have the knowledge about what is the material world, and they come to realize this material world is temporary, and they develop renunciation. Example, I put example of a rose. Rose is so pretty to see, but it has thorns also. So in material world, we have all the things: happiness, distress, everything is there, and everything is temporary. So then what? Then as souls, and we cannot remain inactive. We need constant engagement by doing spiritual activity. Otherwise, we'll be engaged in occupation of illusory energy of Maya. So the process of Jnana Yoga is dry, not pleasing to the heart. Then what are the challenges in Ashtanga Yoga? And Ashtanga Yoga means you have to go through all the process like Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, and Dhyana, and finally reach the Samadhi. So it's also a difficult stage. So Krishna gives in Bhagavad-Gita chapter 6.11 and 6.14 That to practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place and should lay kusha grass on the ground and cover with deer skin and a soft cloth. The seat should be neither too high nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should be sit on it very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling the mind, senses, activities, and fixing the mind on one point. One should hold one's body, neck, head erect in a straight line and stay stately at the tip of the nose. Thus, with agitated and subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me ultimate goal of life. So what happens if we sit like, with eyes half closed, close everything, the first thing what we do is we'll sleep off. That's the first thing we'll be doing. There will be no meditation, nothing. Then other thing is, in the age of Kali, is it possible to practice? It's very difficult. Why? Because the people are very short-lived and the mind is always agitated, flickering. There'll be something or the other always bothering us. If we try to satisfy one desire, there'll be other desire following. So it's never ending. And there's no forest. Now, if we go, we can see everywhere it's like cutting down trees, they're building apartment, or in India it's a flat. We cannot see any forest. Every forest is going away. And finding secluded place is also very challenging. And one has to leave their home. So can a woman leave a house alone? It's not possible, right? If they have small kids and all, they cannot leave the small kids and go to the forest and practice the yoga, and it's not possible. And what are the benefits of Bhakti Yoga? Krishna always says, like Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, Yome Bhaktya Prayachati, Tad Aham Bhakti Ubahridam, Ashmami Prayatmana. So whatever I am offered in devotion with a pure heart, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, a water, I accept with joy, because Bhakti Yoga is so easy. So what are the benefits of Bhakti Yoga? It does not tell us to stop the senses and mind, but what does it do is it redirect our senses and function our senses in the practice of Bhakti. So we do action selflessly without expecting anything in return, and not for getting any sense enjoyment for ourselves. So our goal is we have to serve only Krishna. So when our goal is to serve Krishna, what happens is you have a detachment from this material world and from the objects of this material world, and that frees from the bondage. And Krishna reveals knowledge in Bhakti Yoga, like Stravanam and Kirtanam is an important part of Bhakti Yoga. And what's the benefit of that? Your heart gets purified, and gradually the knowledge is also revealed to Bhakti Yogi. That what is the knowledge? That we are souls, we are part and parcel of Krishna. So we understand our constitutional position, that we are the servants of Krishna, and that we understand that the material world is temporary. And he also understands about this world and how this world is functioning. Then through Bhakti, devotee can establish a close relationship with the Lord and realize the form of Lord and experience the emotions and bliss comes from the relationship. So the thing is, like if you see the picture of Lord Rama and Lord Narasimha, they're sitting on the throne. But with Krishna, we can see that there's a different relationship, right? We can have a personal relationship with Krishna. For example, the cowherd boys treated Krishna as their friend. Then Yashoda Maya treated Krishna as his son. And Arjuna treated Krishna as a guru and same time as a friend. So everybody can have kind of a personal relationship with Krishna. So that is the beauty of having Bhakti towards Krishna. Then it's easy to practice. We can practice by chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, reading books about Krishna. We can go to marketplace to purchase things for Krishna, clean the temple, make garlands, associate with devotees. So every single moment we can think of Krishna. Then other thing is Bhakti, what it does is it increases our attachment to the Lord and decreases our material sense enjoyment. Then we get the knowledge, as I said earlier, we are not the body, but Atma. And we develop some knowledge and take the Supreme Lord as only goal and engages in Bhakti. And this is I repeated. And then we have to give up. It's easy to give up the sinful habit like meat eating, then attraction towards opposites, etc. So before coming to Krishna consciousness, most of them will be eating meat, fish, egg, all those things. And some would have engaged in drinking alcohol, going out for a party, But once we have practiced bhakti, what happened? All that negative tendencies will go away from our heart, and we'll be focusing, on our spiritual practice like chanting. Then we focus on only eating the Krishna prasadam. The tendency to go out and eat on restaurants on the weekends, that also will, slowly we'll give up all those bad habits. Then purification is easy and quicker. So association with pure devotees, it's easy to give up sinful habit. Example scriptures about Narada Muni. He gave mercy to the hunter Mrigari who used to kill the animals half kill, right? And because of the association with pure devotee, he became a humble servant of Lord, completely surrendered soul to Krishna. And he started to practice bhakti. And even he didn't want to trample over a ant also. That is the transformation happened. And because of Srila Prabhupada, the hippies also turn into happies. Then easy to control the mind and senses, and easy to practice. So attain Krishna and go back to Krishna's abode. That is Krishna's promise, right? Like Krishna always is a swift deliverer of devotees. And in Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, one may come to the stage of Brahman realization, but in Ashtanga Yoga, one may come to the stage of Paramatma realization. And Bhakti Yoga, one may have the Bhagavan realization itself. And Bhakti benefits all. So we have heard about the story of Gajendra, how he was saved from this material world, from the distress that a crocodile gave him. And this another example from the same temple, the Guruvayur. We have been brought up by hearing all these stories from our grandmothers. So one incident is about Guruvayur Keshavan. Have you ever heard about an elephant doing Ekadashi Vradam? But this elephant, he does that every time that he will hold that the procession, right? Procession, they take the Lord outside on the top of the elephant. And he was the person who will do this to end of his life. He was totally dedicated to Krishna only. And if the priest, if the mammoth, if it's some mistake if he do, and if mammoth scold, he straight away go to Guru Hirappan and he elects all the complaint to him only. Then he was very particular that he should be decorated with the tilak from Guru Hirappan's tilak, Krishna's tilak. He need that. So it's very particular about that. And till his last breath, he was serving the Lord. And so that is the bhakti he was showing it. And even now, he after he passed away, also there's a statue erected in there, in the temple premises. And even now, when the death anniversary comes, all the elephant will circulate him, and one of the elephant will put garland over him. And the right side picture in the temple, when we go, we can see the entrance of the temple. Middle is Krishna's picture, and and we have picture of the Guruvayur Keshavan, and then his task is there. So when we go, it's like a beautiful feeling. It's like, you can practice bhakti. Even the elephant can get moksham. So what about the fallen souls like us? It reminds us like how Krishna benefit, practicing bhakti to Krishna saves each and every soul. Even Srila Prabhupada says the culmination of all kinds of yoga practices lies in bhakti yoga only. All other yogas are what means to come to the point of bhakti in bhakti yoga. Yoga actually means bhakti yoga. All other yogas are progressions towards the bhakti yoga. It's like a ladder. The karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga. There's it's like a ladder from top to the bottom, and the top is the bhakti yoga. So what are the qualities which devotees achieve while practicing bhakti? So a pure devotee is not disturbed by in any circumstances, whether happiness or distress. If there's a gain or loss, he is not even concerned. He is transcendental in the face of auspicious, inauspicious, and sinful activity. Then he accepts all kinds of risks for the satisfaction of Lord. We can hear about devotees when go to book distribution. They face a lot of challenges, right? Even sometimes they put their life at risk. Then they are transcendental to the fame, infamy, and they're very patient. They speak about topics of Krishna only. They're very satisfied. They're tolerant. The example, whatever food stuff they get, even simple also, they are very happy. Then don't care for any residential facilities. Even if they can live under the tree. Then they fix it in determination and knowledge. And they are clean inwardly and externally. Inwardly means like all the chanting, practicing bhakti, eating prasadam, then taking shower, everything. And externally, also they are pure. Then he is Sama Sarva Bhuteshu, he is equal to all living entities. He feels pain even for cutting a tree or canvassing over a ant. And he has a perfect vision of a material diversity and spiritual unity at the same time. Example, that this means like even though he knows that the soul is present in animal, trees, plants, everything, but he also knows that diversity. Example, when we meet, when we meet devotees at the temple, the Prabhus will hug each other like Hare Krishna Prabhu, how are you doing? When Madajis will hug other Madajis, etc. But we don't go and hug a tiger because he'll be welcoming with his jaws only. We can know, okay, the tiger has got his body because of his past karma. We can pray from far away for his future. Like, let it get a good birth in next birth. So that way we can pray. And we won't be engaged for anybody. We are kind to enemies also. We are not attached to much importance to pain and trouble pertaining to the body because we know that this body is temporary. And we do not try to endure much to achieve something great difficulty. We are always joyful. So in the material world, if you see people, if they have money, but they want it more, they do a lot of work to gain the money. The only goal is money. How can I achieve money? They're not happy. They try to compete with others. Okay, so this person brought a car, I had to buy a big, expensive one than that. So it's like always a competition is always there. So they're not satisfied with whatever they have. Then is fixed instruction of spiritual master. So whatever the spiritual master says, they just blindly follow because they know whatever spiritual master says is for their own good. So, and Krishna also promises, right? For one who worships me, giving up all activities unto me, and being a service and always meditate upon me, must fix its mind upon me, or son of Partha. For him, I am the sweet deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. That is the beauty of Bhakti Yoga. So, conclusions. So, the characteristics of impersonal conception of absolute truth is unmanifested, is beyond sense perception, all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable. How to worship the unmanifested? By controlling our senses, by equally disposed to everyone, by engaging in welfare of all. Difficulty of any common man is difficult for any common man, but because why? Because it involves much penance involved, and before we ultimately surrender to Krishna. So those people who follow the unmanifested worship of Brahman also realize Krishna, but it will take millions of births. What the benefit of Bhakti Yoga is easy to practice. We can chant Hare Krishna. We have a guidance of spiritual master of Krishna Gurus. We can offer simply by offering relative obeisance, we can offer prasadam, everything to Krishna. We can do the relative principle Bhakti Yoga. Then we can hear the glories of the Lord, eat the remnants of footsteps offered to the Lord. So this is the path easily to attain Krishna. So conclusion is, practicing Bhakti Yoga is better than worshipping impersonal Brahman, and anyone can practice Bhakti. So thank you everyone. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If I have done any mistakes or anything, please apologize. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Satya Prabhu, back to you.
Thank you, Mataji. That's a wonderful lecture. Sorry for rushing. And devotees, I know everybody liked the lecture, but don't give any compliments. If you want give any compliments, send directly to the Mataji over the WhatsApp or a message. If you have any questions, please raise. You can ask a couple of questions. We can take a couple of questions. If you have any questions, please raise your hand here in the temple room or in the online.
Hare Krishna, Atma Mataji. Very nice class. I had one question. So you explained like the challenges of karma yoga and how it's it's only part way there, right? It only gets you to maybe mode of goodness. But Mataji, any guidance or advice you'd have to like explain how like karma yoga is not enough for us to progress in spiritual life? So it's just to like explain to like family members or other people to help them understand.
What I feel is, in the beginning, it's very tough to make our family members understand what is the different type of yoga. It's difficult to explain what is bhakti yoga and all. But you can tell them, like, talk about Krishna. You can ask them to read about Krishna's book, everything. And we can tell, like, whatever we have today is blessings from God. And the God is Krishna. Like, we can tell them like that. And so we have to offer our result to Krishna, at least when if we get some bonus, right? If you're working and if you're getting some bonus, you can say, okay, that is Krishna's mercy or God's mercy. Then we can give them prasadam, like then we can. Initially, it will be very difficult, but slowly we can put that into practice and make them understand. And for those people, the first thing we can give is like prasadam. Prasadam is the first thing we can give them, so that slowly they will understand that. And we can bring them to a path of Krishna consciousness slowly only. We cannot straight away go and preach them and philosophy to them, because if they won't, they can go away from Krishna, and sometimes they will comment about us also, right? Like what we are not, why we are forcing to go away from we had to live. Their concept is like they had to live material world happily and peacefully, and practicing bhakti is towards the old age. That is the philosophy of most of the people having it. So it's very hard to to making convinced, but slowly we can do that by giving prasadam and slowly introducing to Krishna consciousness, inviting them to temple, and make them to chant. Like that way, we can slowly bring them to this path. That's what my understanding is. Satyasada Prabhu, do you have any comments?
No, Mataji, I think you summed it up very well. So, Prashant Prabhu, the Karma Yoga is a very bona fide system. Okay, so it's not bad if somebody follows it, because that's a gradually we progress from where we are to the next level and come to a more of goodness, and from there you take a bhakti, devotional service to the Lord. So, our goal is not to stop people following Karma Yoga, but that will be a stepping stone. So we connect that way. So doing a prescribed duty as a mother, as a father, as a student, whatever role you perform in your life, we have to do it for the pleasure of the Lord. So you have to connect everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. So you do your duties, karma, but for the pleasure of the Lord. So that's how we connect.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. There is one hand raised online. Mridula, please unmute.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Hare Krishna, Mataji. Sri Devi here. My question is, I have been chanting, but I haven't so far developed any kind of relationship that I'm aware of with Krishna. And also from the childhood, I have never prayed Krishna deity or really had any festival celebrated towards Krishna. So coming from this kind of background with that, not so much association with the name Krishna name, how would this progress, Mataji? Do you have any kind of tips or what we can expect going forward?
Mataji, for me, I can tell from my life experience, like we are a devotee of Mother Durga. We have a temple that follows Mother Durga. We have our own temple in India. It's all managed by my uncles. Like my family is taking care of them. My uncle, everybody were temple presidents, like everything. So we follow. We used to worship Krishna. We used to go to Krishna temple as such, but the main deity was Durga. And then once I came to US, I was slowly introduced to Krishna consciousness. So it was really hard for me the transition was a little bit tough. Then slowly by reading scriptures, I understand that the Durga Devi is also a subordinate, like of Krishna. She is working for Krishna only. So Krishna is a supreme God. But that knowledge will get only through association of devotees, by hearing classes of various Guru Maharajas, and by association with senior devotees, by reading scriptures. It will come to a point, like it's a slow, but the transition will slowly happen only. And will come to then after reading so much, listening to all the classes, associating with devotees, by doing services in the temple, slowly will come to that realization. Okay, Krishna is a supreme personality Godhead, and we have to engage in the service of him. Once Krishna is satisfied, all the demigods are satisfied. So we are not. If we transition from like I as I said, if I'm transitioning from Durga Devi to Krishna, it's not that Durga Devi is going to mad at me. She'll be happy because we are serving the Lord. So that is what my understanding is.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. The question, wonderful question. I just want to add one more point. So yeah, what Mataji said is absolutely correct. We have to, since childhood, we like any, like we are not associated with Krishna. With the only way is to engage ourselves. Like reading more about Bhagavatam is the best to like even like one line, one chapter, one shloka that will give in-depth, especially the Prabhupada book. That is a golden thing. We can learn more about Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. That helps. I have been reading, but I think I think I have to be a little more patient. I have to develop patience to wait for things to happen. I think I'm jumping into, okay, I'm not able to get any relationship with Krishna. Maybe I'm not truthful, something like that. I will continue to do what I'm doing and wait for it.
Okay. In the interest of time, we are taking last question before we are moving on to the next program. Yeah, Umesh Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So I really love the example that you gave, that Prabhupada ji wrote, right, about the trade. I did not know it. So first of all, thank you for bringing it to my attention. In that example, this world is full of darkness, right? If you really see it, the material occupations do not bring the light that we want at the end of the day. So is it not good for an impersonalist to see the light when the train was there, just the light? And would that impersonalist be able to travel the journey to become personalist? Or would he or she get fixed in just the light and just see God as impersonalist?
What my understanding is, Prabhu, like the personalist, like they're seeing only the light, right? But there's not much activity in there. But what happens is, like our soul wants engagement. Soul wants to be active. So it can be active only with association by doing services to the Lord. Otherwise, if you sit in one fixed place without no activity, we'll become very bored, right? So this is the same example Prabhupada was bringing. So souls need activity, and how can we engage the soul? So we can do by doing various services to Krishna. So that is the way we can connect to Krishna, and we can directly go to Krishna Loka. So when there's a direct path available, why should we go to the indirect path, which takes millions of lifetime to reach Krishna? So I feel direct method is more beneficial for us, because today we have a human birth, right? Because next time We don't know whether we are going to have a human birth. We have no guarantee. Only Krishna knows whether you'll be born in taking human birth or born in some other forms. Only Krishna only knows. So when we have opportunity right now, let's take that instead of going the indirect method, like again taking birth in millions of species. It's better to go by the direct method. That's what I personally feel. Satyasada Prabhu, you have any suggestions, Prabhu?
No, Mataji, it's perfect. Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna devotees online and also in person. We have a very, very special guest with us. I'm going to introduce her. It's truly my honor, and also I'm thrilled to introduce you, Heather. So here is a brief introduction. So Heather Jeff is our current council member for City of Cedar Park, place 6. She has served 2 terms on council starting in 2017 and is currently running for re-election. And Heather, her husband, and her 2 sons have lived in Cedar Park since 2005, and her sons have both graduated from Vista Ridge High School. She also serves as the board president of the Children Advocacy Center and volunteers with several community non-profits. For the last decade, she has run her own business, teaching and coaching swimming to children and also grown-ups. But now she is back in college at UT Austin. She is studying sustainability and economics. So an inspiring leader. So I did some research about her, and she's an inspiring leader and doing a lot for City of Cedar Park, and also to people of all walks of life. So I'm pretty sure this will be a model of excellence for the rest of the Texas. So with that, let us welcome Heather Jeffs in our own style by singing Hare Krishna mantra one time. So that's a prayer, Heather. So we are calling out to the Lord to give all the blessings and all the strength to you so that you can continue the services that you do to different communities here. So let's chant Hare Krishna mantra one time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, Heather, we are really honored to have you with us today. So, I would like to request you to say a few words to address our congregation.
Thank you so much. The honor is definitely mine to be invited and accepted into your community and to learn more about your faith and your practices. And so thank you. Again, my name is Heather Jeffs. I have been a longtime resident of Cedar Park. I love this community. I've been volunteering in different ways since we moved here. PTAs to other nonprofit organizations serving mostly children and families in our community. I decided to run for city council because I felt like our council did not represent the beauty and diversity in our community, and there were a lot of people that did not have a seat at the table. So I wanted to be able to be that bridge to acknowledge and then celebrate and amplify all of the different voices in our community. So it has been my honor to be able to help make sure that we're not just acknowledging, but celebrating all of the different families in our community and being able to invite you to be part of all of the different events that go on in the city, be able to discuss with you the challenges of your community and all of us together, because we all have very similar problems: roads, traffic, making sure that we have good parks and trails and outdoor spaces. So just making sure that all of your concerns are also able to be brought forward, and we have community meetings where everybody has access to information and input in the decisions that we make. So for the past for the past couple of years, we've been working very much on bringing more parks and trails to the city and integrating our park and trail systems. So we've got the new Brushy Creek Trail fork that we're opening up. That's going to go from Brushy Creek Road all the way up to 1431, hopefully connecting with Leander. We're going to be extending that to Lakeline Park, and hopefully we'll be able to create a pedestrian bridge in the very near future. It's in our plans, but funding is as it is. And then connecting our Lakeline Park to the entire trail system in the county. And then also working on smart intersections that are safe for our kids, that are safe for bikers, especially working with Leander ISD and probably soon Round Rock ISD to create safe spaces around school zones, because that's been a problem lately. Now that everybody is getting back to driving a lot more, these areas have become a lot scarier for kids and their parents. So we definitely want to be addressing that with the Leander School District. Obviously, property taxes and property home values are a huge concern for all of us right now. So just trying to work with the community and figure out what we can do best to relieve that burden as best we can and address the concerns that all of you have, that we all of us have. So I am running for re-election. We have 2-year terms. So it has been a joy to be able to meet with more communities, more people, and sit down in living rooms and in restaurants and other places and places of worship to just listen to your concerns, hear what I can do, figure out different ways that we can make sure that your lives are just that little bit better, a little bit easier. Because that is why I do this. So, and I'm open to taking any questions or hearing any of your concerns. And again, thank you so much for having me here today.
Devotees, if you have any questions for Heather, please feel free to ask, both online and in person.
That get to vote for you?
Everybody gets to vote for every single council position. In even years, we have the even places up to 4 and 6 plus the mayor, and in odd years, we have the odd seats up 1, 3, and 5. But each council member and the mayor represents everybody in the city. So if I am not addressing your concerns properly, you can look to another council member and talk to them. So that is one of the nice things about our city, because it is pretty small. So we don't have individual districts. Every single one is a representative.
Hi, Heather. Thank you for coming and joining our community today. So my question is more related to the winter storm that we had last year, which apparently happens every several years. But it was an inflection point that we really need to think through the infrastructure and how we support the residents during that time, because we had power outages, lack of water, all sorts of things. I heard you talk about many other things, but I'm sure this is also on your mind. So just wanted to know, have we made any progress since last year, and how are we planning to move forward on this?
Sure, thank you. Yes, that was a really big deal for a lot of people. Very scary time. One of the things about Cedar Park that I'm so proud of is that we have planned for a lot of emergency management in the past, and we had systems in place to make sure that our water didn't turn off. A lot of our neighboring communities did have that issue, but we were able to keep the water onto every single home, so we didn't have any boil water notices. We were able to work with Pernalis Electric to keep the power on to our treatment facilities, especially, which is what allowed us to be able to keep the water moving. So we didn't have any issues with that. Unfortunately, Pernalis did have issues with their power. The way that electricity is in Texas, it's a it's a separate entity than the municipalities. So we don't get to control what they do or tell them how to run their electric grid, unfortunately, because we would probably do better. But we have worked with them and Atma's gas. I think that's the one that serves most at Cedar Park, to make sure that we're addressing or we're helping them address their issues with it. Cedar Park specifically has made sure that we have some more systems in place to be able to stand trucks and plow vehicles faster, to make the roads a little bit safer. We've also bought a couple of new generators that have been installed in the power plants. So in case Pedernales just shuts down entirely, we are still able to power those, because we were fortunate to be able to keep power on to the water treatment plants, but we realized that that might not be always the case. So now we have some generators there that will keep the power on even if Pedernales fails or the grid fails for a significant period of time. Let's see, we definitely went back through our emergency management plans to make sure that we're now having some procedures in place for a longer extended event. This was not something we had not anticipated ever having a week or more of no electricity in the city. That was not that's not something that we've ever had. Usually it's a day. So definitely we have gone back and looked at some of our emergency plans.
Yes.
A related question, thanks Mataji for. There's a lot of push, that's why, towards from the private companies at least, right? Keep getting on Facebook ads, get a solar panel, right? Or they also discussions about wind, right? And generating energy from the wind. From the council, is there any clear indication to us, like as residents, is solar a good investment for me? Because they say it's free, but it's not free. At least $25,000, right? Worth of money. Any guidance that? First of all, I would like to know your opinion, and second, from the council, will there be any guidance to us on what's the future?
Well, thank you for that. I am a huge proponent of sustainability and long-term environmental planning, and anything that we can do to mitigate climate change, make us more resilient to the climate changes that are happening. One thing that I would like to note is that while it is very good for us as individuals to do all we can for the environment, we have to remember that it is the systems in place that are the biggest polluters. It's not us as individuals. So it is the large manufacturing companies. It is the coal power plants. It is these systems that are causing the bulk of the climate change. So while it is important that we do what we can to represent and model that good behavior, that stewardship, please don't ever think that it is your fault or responsibility. I personally really like the idea of solar panels. We have not found a solution that is cost effective for us yet. I think that's an individual choice for your family. I think there are better and better products on the market to be able to do that. I would like us to see, as a city, start moving towards renewable energy, carbon neutral energy for our city. And that's one of the things that I've kept pushing. We are now using electric vehicles in a lot of our fleet vehicles, because that does have an impact, because the city has a very large fleet of cars, trucks, other types of vehicles. So I think that is really important as a city. As an individual, those are your financial decisions. But yeah.
Hi, this is Arun. Recently our property evaluations are went too high, and our property taxes paying also become more and more now, year by year. So is there any plan to reduce the property taxes?
Cedar Park definitely has been moving to bring our tax rate down further and further. We haven't started the budget process yet. That will kick off in June, and we have many, many public meetings and workshops. And I would definitely recommend anybody watch or come to help us work through what our priorities are as the city. And then once we finalize what the budget needs to be, that's when we fix the tax rate to provide the services that we need. In terms of your property, your home value, that is not something that we get to determine. That's determined by a separate board, the appraisal district. So we set the tax rate based on what that appraisal level comes in. I'm anticipating a pretty significant tax rate decrease this year because of the property tax value.
Yes.
Also, Cedar Park has tried very, very hard over the years to do what we can. We implemented a homestead exemption in 2018, so that if you own your home, you have a line item that just reduces that property tax burden immediately. We've also been working really hard to bring in businesses and retail to the city, so that portion. The total amount that the city needs to run and function, so much less of it now is coming from properties than it used to be. I think when I started on council, it was somewhere between 55 and 60% of the income from the city was from property. And now we are down just under 50%, fortunately, because we've been able to increase the amount that we're getting from sales tax and from corporate taxes and things like that. So that's really good. That will continue to help us. Our retail sector in the city did not take the hit that most other areas did. So we're definitely able to shift that burden away from homeowners and more towards sales tax revenue and business taxes. So I promise we are doing everything we can, but please definitely come to our budget workshops and budget meetings so that you can help us inform the decisions that we make.
Any questions online? No. So Heather, thank you very much again for coming over.
So much.
So we have a very, very special and sacred gift for you. It's so temple commander is going to give you. You want to give Guru? Okay. Yes. It's like our Bible. It's a Bhagavad-Gita. Bhagavad-Gita means it's a song of God. So all the instructions on how to live a happy and fulfilling, wholesome life, it's in this book. Yeah, thank you very much. And so with that, I also wanted to thank Arundhati Mataji for arranging this wonderful visit of Heather to Hare Krishna Temple of Austin. Mataji, would you like to say a few words quickly?
Hey, Heather, this is my second time meeting you, and it's very encouraging to see a fellow mom take that big step and say, I'm going to do something for the city. So thank you so much for doing that. We'll definitely look forward to a continued association with you and with all our congregation temples and your support, and good luck with the elections. I hope you get elected.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you. I appreciate
Hare
it.
Krishna.
So the next is we are going to have a worship. It's a special kind of worship, Heather. I don't know if you might not have seen it. It's really. Oh, is it right? Oh, fantastic. So you're more than welcome to sit and watch and how we worship our Supreme Lord. So with that, devotees, please all rise up and we'll roll up the carpet and we'll do Arati. Today's Pujari is Her Grace Sona Manjari Mataji, and Arati singer is Her Grace Sarveshwari Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mother. Yes, yes, yes. Your Mataji to me. Namo Vishnupataya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti.
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvinchesha Sunyavati Paschatya Desadarine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavati Desatarine
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vajadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vajadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Rama Rama.
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Gauranitai Jaya, Gauranitai Jaya, Gauranitai Jaya, Gauranitai Jaya.
Nitai Jaya, Gaura Nitai Jaya, Gaura Nitai Jaya, Gaura Nitai Jaya.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Nitai Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Gaur Premanand ki.
Wonderful. Hare Krishna everyone. So let's pay obeisances. Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramamsa Pravajakshariya Sostrata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramamsa Pravadacharya Stosrasva Shri Srimati Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prem Shri Gaur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Dham ki Gajabhumi Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Navadvip Shri Mayapur Dham ki Shri Kshetram Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki Jai. Jagannath Swami ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Tulasi Maharani ki Jai. Yangamaya Yamunamaya ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution ki Jai. Prabhupada Transcendental Prasadam Distribution ki Jai. Prabhupada Transcendental Cow Protection Yagna ki Jai. Gaura Premanande, Hare Bol, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. We are going to do Narsimha Arati, Sarveshwari Mataji. Couple of 9 of them.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Prahladatadayine.
Praladadayine.
Hiranyakashipurvakshaha.
Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha.
Shilatankanakalaye. Ito nasimho parato nasimho.
Ito narsimho parato narsimho.
Yato yato yami tato nasimho.
Yato yato yami tato narsimho.
Bahi nasimho hridaye nasimho.
Bahe narsimho hridaye narsimho.
Narasimhamatim saranam prabhate.
Narasimhamatim sharanam prapade.
Tavakara kamalabare naka arpuda shinka dalita hiranyakashipudana bringa shavadrita narahari rupa jai jagadisha hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada.
Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva
Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
नरसिंह देव की
जय।
प्रहलाद महाराज की
जय।
गुरुदेव की
जय।
गौरव निताय की
जय।
Thank you, Sarveshri Mataji, for wonderful Aarti Kirtan and Narsimha Aarti. Thank you, Swarnamanjari Mataji, for Aarti service. And quickly, I will announce a few announcements. Today's Sunday feast is sponsored by Radha Damodar Das and Atma Mataji, and for the Akhilesh birthday. And we had 5 birthdays in the last week. Akhilesh, Atma Mataji, and Radha Damodar Prabhu's son, Neeraj Prabhu, Amit Prabhu, Kalyan Prabhu, and Sukanya Mataji. Let us chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times for their benefit. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And Sri Narasimha Chaturdasi is on Saturday, May 14, 2022. Please check the WhatsApp message for various programs and sign up as soon as possible. We have also pre-celebration program for Narasimha Chaturdasi starting on May 9. Please contact Veena Mataji if you are interested of any service or anything. Okay. And the next announcement is like next Sunday is a Mother's Day. We have a special lecture and special Sunday feast on the eve of Mother's Day. Please stand up for the Prashadam line, and Dhriti will recite Prashadam prayers.
Mahaprasade Govinde,
Mahaprasade Govinde,
Namo Brahmani Vaishnave,
Namo Brahmani Vaishnave,
Salpa Punyavatam Rajam,
Svalpa Punyavatam Rajan,
Vishwashone Vijayate,
Vishwakronaya Jayate,
Sharira Vidyaja,
Sharira Vidyaja,
Jyotinjayataheka,
Jyotindriyataheka,
Jive Kale Vishaya Sagare,
Jive Kale Vishaya Sagare,
Taramatya Jivati,
Taramatya Jivati,
Lobo Moy Sudharmati,
Logo Maya Sudharmati,
Take Jita Tina Samsare,
Tahe Jita Ka Tina Samsare,
Krishna Bara Doya Moy,
Krishna Pada Daya Moy,
Gori Bare Jiva Joy,
Kari Baya Diva
Jai,
Prasadana Dilo Bhai,
Saprasadana Vilobha,
Sena Mritapa,
Sena Mritapa,
Radha Krishna Gunaga,
Radha Krishna Gunaga,
Premeta Koshi Chaitanya Nita,
Premeta Kosi Chaitanya Nithai,
Jainima Jainitai,
Jainitai Jainitai,
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Shri Advaita Gadadhara,
Shri Advaita Gadadhara,
Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
Mahaprasad ki jai.